Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? How we doing? Matt Antonelli here. If you guys follow baseball, you know that Tommy La Stella got traded from the Los Angeles Angels. And there's a video that's up. I don't know if it's up on Instagram or it's kind of up all over the place, I guess. A couple people had sent it to me. And I'll throw it up right now. It's basically when La Stella finds out that he's been traded. So it's during the game. He walks over to Mike Trout, and you can see him tell him. They end up giving each other a hug, and then Trout looks like he's a little bit in shock. I can't read lips. I'm not like John Boy. Everyone always says, can you tell what they're saying? I have no idea what they're saying. But to me, it looks like he says, I don't know, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. It looks like he says F-U-C-K, man, kind of like, obviously very surprised and not upset, but, realizing that it seems like they're probably pretty good friends. They've been with each other for a little bit, and realizing that he's not going to have his boy around with him anymore. So, a lot of people are saying, have you been traded? What's it like to get traded? What happens when you get traded? And I've been with a bunch of organizations throughout my career. I've been with 5. And pretty much each one of them, I've either been traded, designated for assignment, released. So I've had a bunch of different things happen to me where I've had to go and say goodbye to teammates a lot of times. And so I want to fill you guys in on kind of how it happens. I'll go through each of my teams. And explain kind of what it feels like to, be with a team and with friends for, when you play baseball, you're with those guys basically every single day for almost the entire day, and it can be up to 8 months long, right? So before we get into exactly how it happens, let's just talk through the season, right? You show up to spring training in February. Typically early February, you're going to get to spring training. And so you're going to be in spring training, and then you're going to be in the regular season. But that's February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. That's 8 months of the season. If you go to the playoffs, it could be 9 months of the season. And so, your typical day, if you guys watched my other videos, the typical day is, you show up to the park at, say, 1 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game. Some guys show up even earlier. So you're there from like 1 o'clock until the game ends at 10, and then you get dinner, you eat and stuff. You might get out of there at 11 or 12. I mean, how many hour day is that? It's almost a 12-hour day, right? Say a 10, 11-hour day. A lot of times when you're not at the ballpark, you're in a city with just your team. Your team becomes your family. And so if you're on the road, you're spending, you might go back to the hotel, and you don't, in the big leagues, you don't have a roommate in the hotel, but you always have a close group of friends typically that you're going to eat all your meals with. You're going to, before the game, before you head over to the park, you might go and do whatever. After the game, you're going to go out, you're going to go with your buddies on the team. And so you're always with them. Like, it feels like every minute of the day, right? When you travel on the plane, you're with your buddies. Like, you're just always with them. And when you get sent to a new team, it's the strangest thing because for a lot of guys, you don't even know it's coming, and then boom, it happens, and you go from spending every waking minute with these people to some of them you'll never see again. That happened to me with lots and lots and lots of people, right? And so it is a very, very strange thing. And let's kind of go through it. So that happened to me. The first time it happened to me was with the Padres. I'd been with the Padres for 5 years. Now, the difference with the Padres is that I was designated for assignments. I was taken off of the roster, but it happened in the off season. So I didn't even have a time or a chance to be able to say, I'm out of here, like, see you later. I didn't even have that chance to do it. If I talked to people, it was on the phone. It happened to me, and I remember exactly when it happened. I was eating at a Mexican restaurant in Winthrop, Massachusetts. I was at the table. My agent called me and said, hey, you've been designated for assignment. I said, what the hell does that mean? He said, it's basically you've been taken off the 40-man roster. Padres want you to come back as basically, I think it would be considered like a minor, I don't know, at that point, a minor league free agent, but basically come off the 40-man. And I ended up going over to the Washington Nationals and signing with them for a bunch of different reasons, but that was it. I went 5 years with the Nationals, with the Padres, and then one phone call, boom, off the team. never saw a lot of those guys again. Some of them I saw again just, playing against them when I went to the Nationals, and then I went to a bunch of teams after that. But the other thing is, I'm from Massachusetts, so let's say I've developed a great friendship with guys, right? Like, there were so many guys with the Padres that I developed really good friendships with. I'm in Massachusetts, and those guys are in all different places, like Texas. Like, Chad Huffman was one of my roommates for a long time. One of my good buddies, Texas. Like, Whey LeBlanc was one of my roommates and good friends for a long time, Louisiana. Like, all the guys are from different states. I had nobody from Massachusetts. There was barely anyone from the Northeast. And so it's not like I'm like, oh, I'll see you guys in the off season. Like, we're all living way away from each other. So that was the first time that it ever happened to me. And I'll be honest, when I signed with the Nationals, like, I felt like a little kid in school again, like transferring schools and going to a new school for the first time. And I was like, are the kids going to like me? Like, when I walk into the clubhouse, what are they going to be mean? Are they like, that's what I'm thinking in my head as at this point, I'm like, I don't know, 27 years old or something like that, 26 years old or something. So, and it's weird. The first time you walk in the clubhouse, spring training next year, I walk in with the Nationals. I don't know anybody. I walk in, I'm the new guy. Like, everyone has developed, not everyone, but lots of guys have developed relationships with people because they've been with them for a long time. And I'm walking in and I have no idea who anybody is. And the first week or so, again, depending on your personality, I've said this in another video, like, I'm not the most outgoing person if I don't know people. And so I'm not going to walk in there and be like, hey, everybody, what's going on? Nice to meet you guys. Like, I'm not going to do that. And so it takes a little while. But this is the one thing I did notice. After a while, you do, at least for me, it takes a couple of weeks, but then you feel like you've been there for a really long time. And it's not like you forget about your friendships and your relationships you made with other programs and other organizations, but you end up building new ones. And I made a lot of really close friends in other organizations as well. Okay, but this continually happened to me over and over again. When I was at the Nationals, I think the Nationals actually were the one team where I finished the season. I actually finished the season, got to say goodbye to everybody, and I didn't end up coming back, so I never saw those guys again. A lot of them. But I did at least finish the season. And when the season ends, every time a season ends, it's kind of like that same thing. Like, I was on a 1-year deal. And so a lot of guys understand, like, I might not see these guys again. But you don't know it's definite. Like, you could be back with the team, right? So you say your goodbyes and your hugs and all that stuff at the end of the season. And you say, I'll see you next year. And then sometimes you just never see them again. Because I spent 1 year with Washington. Then I went to the Baltimore Orioles. And when I was with the Orioles, I got a call into the office that I'd been taken off the 40-man again. When I was with the Padre, I think I said designated for assignment. I was non-tendered, okay? So, I've been in so many things I can't keep them all straight. I was non-tendered, which means taken off the 40-man. When I was with the Orioles, I was designated for assignment. So I was in the season playing with the Orioles. I was in AAA at this point. Called in and said, you've been designated for assignment. You've taken off the 40-man. Basically, I think I had to go through waivers. If I didn't go through waivers, I would have still been with the Orioles. But I wasn't. I was claimed by the Yankees. Okay, so the Yankees claimed me, so I had to say goodbye to all the Orioles people. Okay, I'd been there for like a month or so, finally like feeling comfortable. A little more than a month. I did spring training of 2 months, then I did a month of the season. Designated for assignment. Had to say goodbye to everyone. Had to do basically the Mike Trout thing, go around, usually go around, say goodbye to everyone. There's going to be certain guys that you're closer with than other guys. Some of the people, like I said, that you spend a lot of time with, maybe your roommate, your collective people that you go out to eat with all the time. In baseball, it's not like you're going to eat with the entire team, like usually, just like you would probably in school or anything. You develop where do you go during lunchtime? Which table do you sit at? Like, that kind of happens in baseball. Now, there are times when a lot of guys will go out, but usually you're going to have your smaller group of friends that you're going to spend more time with. So you say a little bit closer goodbye to those guys, and then you're out of there. And then I went to the Yankees. I get to the Yankees. After a couple of months, I developed pretty good friendships, and then I get called into the office. Brian Cashman's on the phone, and he says, hey, Matt, we got to designate you for assignment. I'm like, holy hell, like, this just happened to me a couple months ago. Designated again. Say my goodbyes to everybody. I go home. Nobody claims me this time, so no one picks me up. So then I get a call again from Brian Cashman. He says, we want you back. So I'm like, okay. So I get in my car, and I drive back. So I get back. And then I play another month, and then I get called in the office and say, we're going to release you. And I'm like, okay. So I get released. And I do the whole thing over again. I go around. I say my goodbyes to everybody. Then I'm out of there. That was basically right at the end of the season. Then the next year I signed with the Indians. I'm playing with the Indians. I get sent to AAA after spring training. After about a month or so of the season, I get called into the manager's office. We're going to release you. And so I got to go out again, and I've got to say my goodbyes. I do the same thing. So I've done this over and over and over. And every time I do it, a lot of times I never see those guys again. All right? And it is a strange feeling. It's very strange. It's hard to explain when you say goodbye to people, especially close friends, and you realize that you're not probably ever going to see them again. And there's a lot of people that I never did see again. Talked to them on the phone, never seen them again. Some people, never talked to them, never saw them, gone forever. Happens like that. Strange thing. I know that happens to probably everyone at some point in their life, whether it's, at school, you graduate, or, whatever it is, you change jobs and stuff. So I'm sure a lot of you know kind of what that feels like. But I don't know, again, in baseball, it's weird because you spend almost every waking minute with those people, 7 days a week, almost all year round. So it is definitely strange. So hopefully that gives you a little insight into, what it feels like to be traded or released or designated or non-tendered or whatever the hell else there is that you can have happen to you. Basically, that's all happened to me during my career. So that's all we got. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff. And we'll talk to you later.